Hey there, everybody. This is Cosmic Crypto coming to you. I've been off on a tangent. That's why I haven't been making videos. I've been listening to a lot of contrarian macro folks, specifically Jeff Snyder and Steve Van Meter. Jeff Snyder and also Emil Kalinowski, that Eurodollar University series that they've been doing this year. It's super interesting. The whole premise they have is that the financial crisis of 2008, the Great Financial Crisis, was actually caused by not subprime mortgages, as the media would have you believe, or the typical narrative would have you believe, but actually a euro dollar. And that doesn't necessarily mean European dollar. It just means a dollar that is not in control by the Federal Reserve. He's actually, specifically, Jeff Snyder is very well researched on the history of the Federal Reserve and economics in general. He continually impresses me on his depth and breadth of knowledge. I can just listen to him for hours and learn something new every time I listen to him. He's just super impressive. But the whole contrarian notion that they bring up is super interesting, and it's not the typical view that you're going to hear. The drum that I hear most crypto YouTubers beat is, money printing, blah blah blah. It's going to lead to inflation, but their position is actually the opposite. Their position that is this quantitative easing, they say, is neither quantitative nor easing. But what they mean by that is that it basically creates bank reserves. So the Federal Reserve has a network of banks that are part of the club. I guess they're dealer banks that they sell the treasuries to, and then those banks sell to other banks and other countries and whoever wants to buy U.S. paper. But the point is that the bank reserves can only be used for interbank loans, mostly repo loans, short-term overnight loans. So, and that was one of the issues, the liquidity crisis, or that's been an issue. That was 2008. It was a liquidity crisis in that repo market that ultimately caused the event. But their point is that the Federal Reserve is that they can't do, or they don't do what they say, or what they do doesn't have the effect that they claim it has. So all this money printing, they call it, is really not inflationary, because it would, in order for it to be inflationary, the banks would actually have to spend the money or loan the money out to actually do economic stuff, industrial loans, build new factories, things like that. But if the banks just sit on the money because they're risk averse and they don't want to go out of business, so they don't loan the money out. So the net result is the money just sits on these banks' books, and it doesn't do anything. And complicate that with the fact that this whole Eurodollar shadow banking system that is been a thing for a while, even after they in the 60s they knew it was a thing, and it's only gotten more of a thing, and it's essentially a dollar that is not controlled by the Federal Reserve System at all. It's just out in the wild in the world, and it's the claim of these guys that system is what really caused the financial crisis, and that system is what is at risk now to cause another crisis. So there's no, and so that system it's like our banking system before we had the Federal Reserve. So it was like just a loose network of overnight repo type exchanges and credit swaps and all kinds of fancy footwork. So you end up with the same piece of collateral coming up in multiple places, counting, double dipping, if you will. There's all kinds of things that happen. So when those dominoes start to fall, you can have a real mess on your hands really quickly. So anyway, that's their whole premise. I don't purport, I don't even know the word I'm trying to purport to you to know everything that's going on with what they're saying, but I've been really digging in. That's I know this isn't specifically crypto content, but I want to bring you guys information that you won't hear everyone talk about. And I think this information is very well read and researched, and I haven't heard any crypto YouTubers talking about this stuff. And these guys, Jeff Snyder has a company, Alhambra Investment. I'm not, I don't take money from anyone. They don't know who I am. Steve Van Meter, I think, has a group that he works with. Emil does too. So that, all those guys are financial planning people and, are registered to do that sort of thing. And I'm not promoting them. I like what they had to say. And I feel like it's very pertinent to right now, because the one thing Steve Van Meter talks about is that there's a crises, like economic crises, have two parts. There's a liquidity event, and then there's an insolvency event. And we had the liquidity event in March, and we're still due the insolvency event. We may, I guess the common narrative would say that we bypassed that because of all the money printing or liquidity or whatever. Time will tell. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a lot different. It's my first attempt at showing you guys my face and talking to the camera. We'll see how it goes. I hope you guys are enjoying the end of the year, and let's hope for a better 2021.